everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got yet another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle. Lord Tremendous, that's me, of the Warriors of Chaos, versus Death Holy Death of the Dark Elves. That's right, my favorite Dark Elf opponent. Actually, currently my only Dark Elf opponent, which is good because I have no doubt at the Shiloh I'm going to see like a dozen Dark Elf armies, which I'm actually looking forward to because after the trouncing I've been taking from Death, anyone else is just going to be like, hey, ever throw a hot dog down a hallway? But no, I do enjoy playing against this guy, and from what I've gathered, you guys like watching him beat the crap out of me. So sit back, relax, and get ready to watch the show. Here's my army list. It's more of the same. It's my Shiloh list. My Demon Prince, Lord Tremendous, Mark Zinch, level 3 Wizard, Chaos Armor, Charm Shield, Dragonbane Gem, Other Trickster Shard, Soul Feeder, Scaled Skin, Flaming Breath, and Laura Metal. My hero choices consist of my Exalted Hero, Catalyst, the Keeper of the Colors. He's got the Mark Zinch, he's my VSB, he's got a Halberd, Chaos Steed, Helm of Many Eyes, and a Dawnstone. My other Exalted Hero is Berserk. He's got the Mark Corn, he's got an extra hand weapon, Luckstone, Dragon Helm, and the Crown of Command. Last but not least is my Chaos Sorcerer, Saval, the Mercenary of Chaos. He's got the Mark Zinch, he's level 2 Wizard. He's on a Demonic Mount, the Pack Hog. He's got the Warrior Bane, Enchanted Shield, Skull of Catan, Talisman of Protection, and Laura Zinch. My core choices consist of 5 Chaos Warhounds with Scaled Skin, 23 Chaos Warriors, Blood Tide with the Mark of Corn, Full Command, Halberds, and a Banner of Fury. And of course my Chariot, the Vessel of Vessel of Change, with the Mark Zinch. My special choice consists of 5 Chaos Knights, the Teeth of Zinch, with the Mark Zinch and Sorcerer's Weapons, Band of Musician, Standard of Discipline. And my rare choices are my 3 Skull Crushers, Corn's Wrath, with a Band of Musician, Lances, and the Banner of Swiftness. And of course, the one, the only, the Mutalith Vortex. Gotta love the beast. My opponent's list is, again, more of the same. He's got his Dreadlord, Lydia Bleakflower, Dread Lady of Harganeth, Ganarth, whatever, Ganuget. She's got Heavy Armor, Sea Dragon Cloak, Shield, Giant Blade, Dawnstone, Other Trickster Shard, and she's a whore. He's got a Supreme Sorceress, Lily Bleakflower, the Supreme Sorceress of Harganeth. She's a level 4 wizard with a Book of Asher, the Lore Life, and she's a whore. My hero choices, or his hero choices, I should say, I apologize, are his Death Hag, Julieta, Lady of Lacerations. She's just on a Cauldron of Blood because she's a whore. And he's got his Sorceress, Tessa, the Apprentice, who's a level 2 wizard, a Dispel Scroll, and he uses the Laura Beast. And she is a prostitute. She's not quite a whore yet. She's just an apprentice. Last but not least is his master, Idyer, the Housecarl of the Bleak Flowers. He's their BSB. He's got Heavy Armor, Sea Dragon Cloak, Sword of Might, Enchanted Shield, Iron Curse Icon, and he's a pimp. That's right, because a whore needs to be slapped around. No, I don't really advise any kind of violence against women. Everybody calm down. I'm just joking around because I'm taking cheap shots at my opponent here. He'll understand. It's not for you, listeners. It's for Death. He'll get me. He could take me in a straight-up fight. So I'll hit him with my truck. Anyway, my core choices, or his core choices, damn it, are 25 Witch Elves with Full Command and the Razor Standard, 2 units of 5 Dark Riders with Musicians and Shields, 17 Bleak Swords, or as he likes to call it, the bunker for his whores. That's not what he calls it, but that's what I'm going to call it because I like that. His special choices consist of 20 Executioners with Full Command and Banner of Swiftness, Cold One, Chariot, and 4 Bolt Throwers. These are my spells, 2 from Zinch and 3 from Metal, of course 1 from the Beast. And these are his spells, 4 from Life and 2 from Beasts. And of course his Cauldron spell, but who cares? Here's deployment. As you can see, a little bit more of the same. The Knights are going to try their run around the forest to decide their thing because I'm a little worried about his Bolt Throwers. I put the Beast and a Demon Prince and the Skull Crushers over in Bolt Thrower Alley because I figured saturation is the best way to get him through there. If he concentrates on one, the other 2 are getting through. If he concentrates on all 3, then all 3 are going to get through just in various forms of bleeding. Meanwhile, the dogs are in front to try to get the witches or the executioners to make a mistake, and the warriors are there to capitalize on said mistake with their trusty chariot chicken finger ready to flee at a moment's notice. Here's the elven right flank. There from the left to right are his Reavers and his Cold One Chariot, who, while it's really, really cool, I miss Kim. I do. I miss Kim a lot. Here's his center, left to right. There's his witches with his Death Hag attached. In front of them are the second unit of Dark Riders. Behind the Dark Riders are his executioners with his Dreadlord and his BSB attached. Behind them are 4 each bolt throwers, all with varying whore-like tendencies. And here's my right flank. There's my Beast, my Demon Prince, and my Skull Crushers. My center consists of my dogs, my warriors, and my chicken chariot. And my left flank, which consists of Saval and my knights. So here's top of turn 1 after movement, and I got to go first. Yay! And I did. Things just kind of moved up cautiously. The dogs run up as Vanguard. They don't Vanguard, but they are my Vanguard, or Scouts, or whatever you want to call them. They're the guys that go up front and die first. The idea was, yeah, I know your Dark Riders are going to shoot them to death. I don't care. I'm getting them up here to gum up your lines a little bit. Meanwhile, the Demon Prince and the Mutalith take cover with the trees. The Skull Crushers move up just enough so that they don't give a flank to the Bolt Throwers. The Warriors and the Chariot move up as good as they can. Saval stays in the forest because he doesn't need to get that close to fire off his spells. And the Knights move up, just daring something to get in charge range. During my magic phase, I actually get him to burn his scroll on a final transmutation I rolled like 25 on, which is fine. I don't mind having him burn his scroll top 1, but I would have preferred to get my spell off. Then I try to get Infernal Gateway off on something, and he stops that. And then with my last trick, I get Searing Doom off on his Dark Riders. I don't expect it to do well, but I end up doing 5 hits with it, and I roll 4 wounds. So I almost vape the unit with Searing Doom. He passes his panic check, though, because the Dreadlord's right behind him. But he went from a threat to just kind of like a minor nuisance really, really quick. And here's bottom of 1 after movement. And he doesn't do a whole lot. He comes up a little bit, but for the most part, he's mostly just redirecting, and one is a healthy unit of Dark Riders move over to harass my Knights. During his magic phase, he gets Flesh to Stone off on his Chariot because he knows my Knights are going to try to charge his Chariot. Because now that I think about it, I think his Chariot might have been stupid this turn. Not 100% on that. I'm almost positive, though. So he knew my Knights were going to have to charge that Chariot. It was a flank charge, which was good. So what I think he was trying to do is mitigate how much he lost combat by. But with charge, 2 banners on a flank, I'm already winning by 4. So it's not looking too good. So then we go to top of 2 after movement, and my Knights charge the Chariot, and they make it, thank God. And my Demon Prince charges the lone fast cav, because the idea was he was going to flee, and then I would redirect into the Witches. He didn't flee. Huge mistake on my part. Massive mistake on my part. I don't know what I was thinking, but I wasn't, I guess. So I make a huge mistake there by charging that fast cav, because now the executioners are going to have a field day just ripping apart my Demon Prince, which is my fault. So what can you do, right? Meanwhile, the rest of my stuff kind of moves up. I should have been more aggressive with it. I really, really should have. But the idea here was my Knights hit the Chariot, break the Chariot. It flees. I do not pursue. Believe it or not, I actually told this plan to a guy that was watching because he was wondering why I positioned my dogs like that. Well, I told him, I said, to move the dogs up so the Witches can't charge the Knights. The Knights are going to win this combat against the Chariot. The Chariot breaks, flees, gets the hell out of the way. The Witches hit the dogs. They kill the dogs. They overrun because they're frenzied and they have to, leaving a beautiful flank charge for my Chariot and my Warriors. I'm going to one fell swoop, kill off the Witches, take out the damn Cauldron, deal with all that really, really quick, leaving his Bleak Swords with his casters exposed and his Executioners. I'm going to end up sacrificing the Demon Prince to do it, but the Mutalith, the Skull Crushers are in good position, so I'm really happy with my setup here. Really, really, really happy with my setup. I'm excited. Even Death was like, that's a damn good strategy. You know, he's looking at it. I was because it's a friendly game. We're not playing for money or anything, so we'll explain our strategy to people that are asking because that's the best way to get new players in. But that was the plan. He knew the plan, and he knew there was nothing he could do about it. Except for not charge the dogs, which would have been fine too, because it leaves them pretty much stuck there until either the dogs are shot off the table or until I get my stuff in a better position to charge him. Meanwhile, really all I could do here was wait. But just as this turn ends, I get a phone call, and long story short, I was leaving early that day because me and my wife were going out to a party. Our babysitter canceled like 2 or 3 hours before we were supposed to go, so I had to stop the game right where it's at right here and figure that stuff out. Well, by the time I came back to the table, which was all of 10 minutes to start playing, I was distracted and I never got my ass off my shoulders. So, well, you'll see what happens. There's my Demon Prince charging into his fast calf. Again, I thought he was going to charge or he was going to flee, so I was thinking, all right, he'll flee and then I'll redirect into witches, but he didn't flee. So that's when I came up with the whole knight's dog strategy. This was a stupid, stupid mistake. There's a better picture of the knight slamming into the chariot, and that's awesome. During my magic phase, I'm able to get final transmutation off on his executioners, and not only do I kill 5 of those bastard pointy ears, but I get his BSB. Oh, I was thrilled. I was thrilled. I love Final Transmutation for its sniping ability. Oh, you have a 1-up, 3-up with rerollable ones for your ward save? Well, Final Transmutation, now you have nothing. And I'm going to use you as a statue in my bathroom, because you'll look good in my bathroom. But yes, I get Final Transmutation off on him, and I'm thrilled about that. The BSB is gone, 5 Executioners are gone, so I'm feeling a little bit better about my chances now. Not great, but not terrible. Combat against the chariot goes exactly as planned. I win this combat by like 5 or 6. I don't remember exactly how much it was. The chariot flees, and without thinking, I'm thinking about the babysitter situation. I'm thinking about the party we're going to that night. I'm thinking about, everything except for what I should be thinking about in this moment, and I pursue the chariot. And when I slam into the witches, I'm like, oh man, that is not what I meant to do. But it was too late. I mean, I had already moved the knights. We had already rolled to see what happens. It's way too late to call it. And nobody would ever try to do anything like that. But my whole plan goes up in smoke right here. Every last bit of it goes up in smoke right here because I'm a dumbass. I had my ass firmly planted on my shoulders. Yeah. Yeah. So we go into the combat with the Demon Prince. Of course, he kills that stupid fast cap thing, and I'm like, well, what the hell? I'm gonna charge into the Executioners. I might as well get the +1 combat res. Oh, I was just so upset at this point. So we go to bottom of 2 after movement, and what should have been glorious is really just the beginning of the end because I'm a moron. Oh, I was so upset. I was distracted. That's the best I could do. Now the dogs are blocking me. The chariot and the warriors can't even try to move up because once the witch elves, get a hold of them, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do at this point. My whole strategy is just foobar. So, yeah. I don't even know at this point. I'm looking at the board, scrambling for hope, and every scenario in my head is just say, yeah, dude, you're screwed. My only hope, my fleeting hope in bottom of 2, is that he doesn't have a good magic phase, that his magic phase sucks, so that he can't, because he's got the Lore Life and the Lore Beast, I'm hoping that he can't buff up his witches. I'm hoping that he can't buff up his executioners. Because my Demon Prince, I know he's going to end up in a challenge with his damn Dreadlord. I know that. I'm not stupid. But I'm thinking, a Demon Prince still is going to hit this guy on 3s, wound him on 2s. I know he's probably going to 1-up, 4-up, but I still got a hell of a chance to just kill his Dreadlord outright. And then if I can kill his Dreadlord outright, I get a hold of these executioners. I might be able to just smash them all to pieces. And with Soul Feeder, I have hope. So if I can just mitigate his magic phase, I have hope here. But that was what I was hanging on to. That was my one fleeting, how do I get out of this debacle I've put myself in? Meanwhile, nothing of his really moves, and his chair rallies. Yay, his cherry rally! Not a surprise. He's leadership 9. So yeah, we get into his magic phase, and what does he roll? Anybody want to guess? Remember what I said just a second ago? How anything but a good magic phase would be here? Yeah, he rolls boxcars for his friggin' magic phase. Boxcars! Just more proof that this guy is heavily, heavily favored by Kane. And yeah, rolls godforsaken boxcars. So he immediately proceeds to buff up, augment his executioners to unkillable levels. They have Wizen's Wild Form and Flesh the Stone on them. I do try to stop them. No, I'm sorry. I stop Throne of Vines, and so he's able to get the other two spells off with relative ease because he's got a +5 to cast with Flesh to Stone and Wizen's Wild Form. He rolled 2 6s or 2 5s and a 6, so it was the best possible roll he could roll without irresistible forcing. There's nothing I can do about that with 2 dice. So yeah, I was just like, you know what? That's my fault too. So whatever. During the shooting phase, his bolters really don't know how to aim, and they hit my Mutilith just once and just do 1 damage, just 1 point. That's okay. Over here in combat against the witches, my BSB issues a challenge. His unit champion accepts and gets pulverized for her trouble, and I get +1 weapon skill. Yay! But the rest of the witch elves attack and kill 4 of my knights, which I'm surprised any survived, to be perfectly honest. The returning attacks don't really matter a whole lot. I think I do 1 or 2. It's not very impressive, but in the end, I only end up losing by like 2. And with Leadership 7 with the reroll, I do make my break check, so the knights don't just explode, but they're as good as dead anyway. Over here, against his Dreadlord, I don't do anything against his Dreadlord because he's toughness 8 now. He's strength 8 or 10 or 56,206. It doesn't matter. He gets 3 wounds through on me, and I do nothing to him. He wins his combat. Thank God I'm unbreakable, but I already know this game is a loss, but I'm going to keep on fighting because what else can I do? You know, I could curl up into a ball and cry, but I'm not much of a crier. I'm a bit of a whiner, but not much of a crier. So we go to top of 3 after movement, and the Skull Crushers do a long distance charge, needing an 11 to hit the flank of the witches because I'm just trying to bail my knights out at this point. My BSB, I'm grabbing at straws. These are all going to be Hail Mary passes. I've got nothing intelligent to do whatsoever. My dogs shimmy over, half their movement. The chariot and the warriors move up to try to get the witches. And the Mutilith just stays in the forest. He does try to charge a chariot and fails. He needed like a 8 to hit him, and I rolled like a 4. It was bad. During the magic phase, I get Bolt of Change off on his Dark Riders because I have him in the flank. I'm able to kill 2 before I roll a 1 to wound. And they pass their toughness check, so now they have a 6-up regen. We go into combat, and my BSB issues a challenge. His Death Hag accepts. I'm able to slaughter his Death Hag, and I think I get +1 initiative for my trouble. Meanwhile, my Knight 2 is in combat with just a few of the witches, holds on to best he can, but unfortunately, 1 slips through and kills him. Meanwhile, the Skull Crushers do pretty well. I think they kill like 8 of the witches. They lose this combat, but they're steadfast with a leadership 10 because the general's right there, and they don't go anywhere. But they're not frenzied anymore, which is kind of nice. However, the Dreadlord is still toughness 8, strength 8 or 9 or 156,000, and he's able to shockingly put the last wound through on my Demon Prince, who dies a horrible, horrible death, and it's my fault. So, well, okay, in all fairness, it's the Elven Magic fault too, but this should have gone a lot different, and it's unfortunate. And I've learned a lesson here, but like I said, in my defense, I was distracted, and he took advantage of me. And Lord Tremendous paid the price. So we go to the bottom of 3 after movement, and as you can see, the Executioner slams into the flank of the Skull Crushers, which spells the end for them. His chariot is stupid and stumbles forward a few inches, and everything else just kind of goes, hey, let's shoot at the Mutilith. There's a better picture of the debacle that this combat is becoming. During his magic phase, she gets Throne of Vines off because I'm trying to stop the other spells, which I more or less do. During his shooting phase, even though he's in the forest and everything like that, his Boltors finally remember how to shoot and kill the Mutilith because things are going horrible. Why wouldn't the beast die? I tried to charge him into the chariot. I tried to get him out of their shooting range, and the Mutilith was like, nope, I like it in the forest. And the Bolt Thrower guys finally got his shooting solution down and put 2 right through his heart parts, and that'll kill him, which sucks. I miss my beast. I always get teary. After that, we go into combat, and my BSB has to issue a challenge. His lord happily accepts, beats the crap out of my BSB. Actually, I take that back. He does not beat the crap out of my BSB. He does 2 wounds to my BSB at -4, I think it is. Yeah, it's -4. I have a 5-up rerollable 6-up. I don't make 1 save, so my BSB dies, and there's nothing I can do about that, which really, really, really sucks. Yeah, I was really disappointed. 5-up, 5-up, 6-up. I needed to just make 1 save to keep him in the game, and I didn't. And you know what? I deserve it. I think it was just because of what I did. I had those witches. They should have been mine, and I screwed it up. I was distracted and stupid. And then, I mean, I say I was distracted, but I had plenty of time to get my head out of my ass, but I didn't. I was distracted about other things, and I made a critical mistake, and now everything's falling apart because that's what happens when you make critical mistakes, especially against Death. You don't want to make any mistakes against Death, especially major ones, because he's going to take advantage, and he should. During the combat, though, my Skull Crushers are still able to do a significant amount of wounds. I kill off the Executioner unit champion. I kill a couple of the Executioners. I get a hold of some of the witches. I do a decent amount of damage, so I'm actually pretty happy about that. However, I end up losing this combat and breaking. The Executioners refrain from pursuing. The witches do not. Because we forget they're no longer frenzied. We think that they're frenzied. We forget that they're not. He pursues. They get away. He's carrying a wound on his way out. Of course, the banner guy dies when everything breaks because that's makes sense. But it is what it is. So the witches end up stopping an inch away from the executioners. I know it doesn't look like it, but actually, yes, that's where the witches are. We leave it there because we're just going through the paces now because we know I'm screwed. It's just how much can I salvage before he tables me. But we end up going to top of 4 after movement, and I make a Hail Mary charge. There's just enough space for my warriors to scoot in there with the dogs positioned the way they were. I needed a 10 to hit, or a 9 or a 10 to hit, and I got it. And the warriors slam into the flank of the witches, which is huge because there's no way the witches are going to be able to do enough damage to stop me from winning this combat. They're not going to be steadfast because they don't have as many ranks as I do. In fact, for combat res alone, they don't even have ranks because I've got supporting ranks in their flank. So this is actually looking really good. I'm very happy about this. Meanwhile, the chariot moves around to try to do anything. And my Skullcrusher, who is leadership 9 to rally, rolls a 10 and continues to flee because F me. That's why. Meanwhile, Saval runs around because he's just harassing the fast cav because who cares? There's nothing else he's going to really do. There's a better picture of my warriors seizing the opportunity against the witches. During the magic phase, I nickel and dime his fast cav. They do fail their toughness check for the Warflame, and only 1 is left in the end, which is awesome. I do miscast 5 with Bolt of Change, but I am able to ward save the wound that I take, because yeah, it did wound him. Over here, in a moment of sheer awesomeness, my warriors not only slam into the witches and devastate them and break them, but they take no wounds for their trouble. And then the witches break. The warriors pursue and catch them. It was awesome. Finally, you know? So the witches break. Everything makes their panic check. And my warriors pursue. They're frenzied. They don't have a choice. And they slam into the executioners. And I'm fine with this as it is right now. But again, just like before with the Demon Prince, I've got to hope that my opponent doesn't have a good magic phase, because if he does, he's going to just buff the hell out of his executioners, because I've only got a level 2 to his level 5, basically. So he can get pretty much whatever he wants off. He's already got Throne of Vines off. There's nothing I've been able to do about that. So yeah, if I can stop him from getting his buffing his executioners, the plan here is give up the unit champion. Unit champion is just a challenge. Dreadlord kills him. So be it. And then all my warrior or my exalted hero, he goes before his executioners with 6 attacks. So I'm hoping to kill at least 3 executioners, stopping a couple of his attacks, and then I weather what's ever left. Even if he hits and wounds with all of them, it's another 6 or 7 guys dead, which I'll accept those losses because the amount of attacks I'm going to throw back, needing 4s and 2s, should be enough to vaporize this unit. He'll have his Dreadlord left, who won't be steadfast, and then I can run him down, call it good, and maybe win this game still. There's still hope at this point. So I'm like, as long as he doesn't have a good magic phase, I should be okay. So we go to bottom of 4, and there you go. His chariot isn't stupid, charges into the flank of my warriors. He's 2 inches away. He makes it by accident. Meanwhile, everything else just kind of stays put. There's a better picture of his Cold One chariot slamming into the flank of my warriors. And then we go to magic, and he rolls a 10, a 9 or a 10, and then he channels one and has 10 or 11 power dice to my 4 or 5, whatever it was, 5 I think. So yeah, exactly what I wish wouldn't have happened happens, and he gets Wisdom's Wild Form off on his chariot, and he gets Flesh to Stone off, the big one of course, on his executioners. So yeah, it's over. It's over. Once again, I'm losing to magic. If he had just rolled average for magic, a 7, even an 8, I might have been able to do something here. But he rolls a 10, or a 9 or a 10, and he channels. So he's got plenty of dice to do whatever he wants. He's already got Flesh of Stone off. When I try to stop Flesh of Stone from going off, again, I can't roll higher than a 1 on whatever the dice I had. Oh, it was so miserable. So miserable. Ugh. But yeah, the executioners are now toughness 7. Chariot's now toughness 6 with strength 6 impact hits, and I hate me right now. It's just, what can you do? What can you do when you're just getting screwed? Although, in all fairness, I really did screw myself too, so I'm getting it from both ends. Yay! Over here, the elves have literally run out of targets, so the bolt throwers shoot at the dogs and kill 3, and the remaining 2 make their own leadership check. That was great. Oh yeah, and in this combat, my unit champion issues a challenge. His Dreadlord accepts. He murders my unit champion. My exalted hero makes way just to get into the combat because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to fight. He is able to kill like 1 of the executioners, maybe 2. But then the other 3 executioners or 4 executioners in base to base with easily do the 2 wounds to him because he's only got a 3-up armor. So they kill off my exalted hero, making him not stubborn. My warriors, they try their best, but they need 6s to wound, and at this point, my dice know I should lose this game too. His chariot in my flank, his executioners to my front, it's all I can do, and I break, they catch me, and it's over. But I don't know how to quit, so we go to top of 5. And as you can see, again, it's just whatever at this point. My chariot charges the executioners, and Saval charges the fast cav, because foreplay is for pansies. There's a better picture of the chariot sacrificing himself so that the game can be over. There's a better picture of Saval sacrificing the fast cav so that I can kill more pointy ears. Magic is a wash because there's just no point. And so we go straight into combat. Saval is easily able to kill the fast cav, and there was much rejoicing. And my chariot easily gets his ass handed to him by his Dreadlord. The impact hits doing, of course, nothing, because I can't get past his toughness 7. His Dreadlord, like I said, just beats the tar out of him. We go to bottom of 5, but as you can see, I didn't take a picture because I'm sitting in a pool of self-doubt and misery. Really, it just hides my shame. I forgot to take a picture. At this point, we're all just sitting there. It's like, man, I had this game in 2, and even Death was kind of like, you had a better chance, that's for damn sure, but... you know, at this point, we've already gone into what went wrong because we already know I'm screwed. But just to get it over with, we go into his shooting phase, and they kill my dogs, no problem. And and a pot shot's taken at my Skullcrusher, who still hasn't rallied at leadership 9. He continues to flee. They take some pot shots at him. They put another wound on him. We go to top of 6. My idiot Skullcrusher actually rallies, and Saval runs into the forest thinking, hey, maybe I can do a pot shot at him, a parting magic shot, and do some damage. That'll be fun. There's a better shot of Moron rallying just in time. During the magic phase, out of spite, I get Infernal Gateway off on the Executioners. I kill the 5 or 6 of them from the back rank, which I feel good about. They make their Panic check, which I don't feel so good about. And they get +1 regen because they make their Toughness check. And then we go to bottom of 6. Things kind of turn to face me, but it's bottom of 6. Nothing's going to happen. The Executioners move over. The Chariot looks at me. The Bleak Swords and the Chicks come up just because they're whores. But it's the shooting phase that does me in. The 2 bolt throwers, or 2 bolt throwers fire the Skullcrusher single bolts and kill him. And 2 bolt throwers fire at Saval, who's long range in a forest. He rolls 1/6 to hit, 1/6 to wound, and I don't make my 5-up ward. He is then able to roll a 6 again in order to do 3 wounds to Saval, and boom, there you have it. I am tabled. Expertly, I might add. Hats off to Death Holy Death. I had him by the short hairs. I got distracted by a shiny and completely bent over and took it like a Slanesh slave. And that's wonderful. Somebody put a ball gag in my mouth. I might be pregnant. I couldn't believe it. But it is what it is. What can you do? He got some wonderful, wonderful magic phases when he really needed them, and when he needed my help, I was there to help him by completely and totally forgetting my plan. I did too. It was the funniest thing. I told a guy sitting at the table exactly what my plan was, and then I completely botched it. But I'll get back to berating myself in a minute, because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Tokens, fellas. Tokens, tokens, tokens. Wound counters, augment markers, hex markers, every status, ailment, and effect you can think of, from not being able to move to the lore attributes to the lore hexes and bonuses that they provide. Everything that you can think of that you could need a marker for, that we use dice for. Token Grail makes the tokens. Send her an email, tell her what you need. Any gaming system, from Magic the Gathering to Infinity to Malifaux to 40k to Fantasy, whatever you need tokens for, she will make them, and they come out they're flawless. Look at them. They're the glass beads. They magnify the words in the picture, so they're really easy to see from the tabletop and everything like that. They're a lot more accurate than dice, and they're dirt cheap, guys. She sells them for less than $10 a kit. Dirt cheap prices, solid gold quality. Totally worth it. Send her an email, get yourself some tokens. The only request that I make is that if you are overseas, if you're outside of America, before you send her an email, you have to understand that shipping prices are through the roof. So as long as you're okay with paying like $30+ shipping fees, don't send her an email, because it's just going to waste both your times. But if you are in America or you don't mind high shipping fees, then by all means, send her an email, get yourself some tokens. Totally worth it. Well, this was obviously a very well-deserved loss for Lord Tremendous. I lost everything like a boss. The Dark Elves lost both units of Dark Riders, his BSB, his Death Hag, and his Witch Elves. So it's not like the victory party for him is going to be all that big. He only had a handful of guys left, but still, he won, and he won by a landslide. I told the guy what my strategy was. I got a phone call. It all goes to poop. I need to play without my head in my ass. Every time I'd get into a combat, though, he'd have an outstanding magic phase that I couldn't stand up to. I mean, I lost my level 3 way too early, and he's got a level 5, basically, with the Book of Asher on his level 4. But you can't do anything when God Himself wants you to lose. When your opponent's getting the perfect magic phases in order to stop you, and when you throw 5 or 6 dice at things and you can't roll higher than a 3, and I literally couldn't roll higher than a 3 on 5 or 6 dice. What can you do? Sometimes you just got to take the loss, no matter how much you're resisting. But yeah, to hell with elves. I still hate them with a passion. Love Death Holy Death. He's a great opponent. Anybody who gets a chance to play against this guy should, because it's going to be a literal. You're going to have to earn this victory, and that's why I really like playing against him. He doesn't pull any punches. He doesn't back off because you're having a bad game. He takes it to you from turn 1 to turn 6, win, lose, or draw, and I love that. I really enjoy these games, and he lets me kill elves, so it's win-win-win. We really did have a ton of fun. We were laughing a lot. Always a blast to fight against Death Holy Death, and I will be getting a rematch against him soon because I've gotta quit having these runs with him. Right? Eventually, I've got to win. I can play the odds. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for Battle Report 84. I hope you enjoyed my pain. But as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll get to them as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it. So thanks.